PD3. Welcome to the second part, the afternoon part, and we are heading towards the third panel discussion of the day. And this is going to be on banking on technology, transforming NBFCs with the cloud. And I would like to call upon stage the moderator for this session, Mr. Anand Agarwal, Head IT and CISO, ACRE India. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Mr. Anand Agarwal. And requesting all the esteemed panelists to please join us on stage. Mr. Rakesh Dubey, Managing Partner, Sagacia. Ms. Mandakini Kumari, Chief Product Officer, Vivriti Capital. Mr. Gaurav Khurana, CIO, Shubham Housing Finance. Mr. Sanjay Mahajan, CIO, Fusion Microfinance. Mr. Rishab Garg, CTO, UGRO Capital. Mr. Vishal Rathore, CIO, India Infrastructure Finance. And Mr. Raj Dighe, Head of Data Strategy and Business Intelligence, L&T Finance. And Mr. Prakash Somaiya, Director and Business Head, Finnate. Everyone, please let's welcome them with a huge round of applause. And here we are going to discuss on speed up transactions and increase revenue, to minimize potential lost revenue, high frequency transactions, informed real-time business intelligence decisions, and geo-partitioning. So requesting Mr. Anand Agarwal to please take over. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm in pretty difficult panel immediately after the lunch. So we will try to see that how we can engage all of you. So thanks everyone for being here to discuss such an interesting topic, which is talk of the town, especially after the cloud, after this COVID thing, cloud, and how the NBFCs are transforming themselves using this technology. So while we'll get into some of the insights from the practitioners who are actually implemented the cloud, and we learn the challenges that they face, which we all we can look at in terms of avoiding those who are not or who are still working on this journey. Now, before we get into this discussion, I just wanted to put some statistics related to the cloud and this thing. So when we look at, Oracle estimates that approximately 80 to 90% of the NBFCs are planning the cloud adoption. Now, NASSCOM study, which was around a year old, that also roughly mentioned the same thing. Now, specifically in the BFSI sector, if I look at, the public's cloud spending, which is expected to be $2.4 billion by next year. I mean, that is the scale and that is the amount of interest and amount of money that is going into the public cloud. With this background, let me just go back to my panelist. And I will ask each of the panelists to spend 1 or 2 minutes to introduce themselves. So my name is Anand Agarwal. I head the IT and security for an organization, ACRE, which is into the assets care. We are basically an ARC. We buy the non-performing loans and then recover the money from that. So I have more than 25 experience. I am a mentor to the startups and also the digital technologist. Yeah, thank you.
थैंक यू आनंद. मुश्किल तो हम लोगों को है कि हम लोग जगह रहेंगे कि नहीं जगह रहेंगे, बाकी लोग तो जगह हैं. So myself is Rakesh. I have been in microfinance sector for last 28 years and then moved to different things. So I have started a fund for financial inclusion. So I would be investing into MFIs and NBFCs. That's one part. Also, I'm a founder of, co-founder of a NBFC. You heard Durgeshwar in the morning. He's a chief executive officer. So I have co-founded that company with him. So that has been from retail to now that's more soft thing I'm doing. Let's hear more with the friends.
Hi, my name is Rishab. I'm a CTO at UGRO Capital. I have more than 20 years of experience in technology space. And UGRO Capital is into MSME segment and provide secured and secured loans. We have more than 100 branches across India, and we are touching close to 10,000 crores of AUM now.
I'm not sure I'm audible. Okay. So I'm Mandakini, Chief Product Officer at Vivriti Capital. And I have 2 decade experience in software development and leading the team leadership role in technology. Of course, first 1 decade was non-financial sector, but past 10 years I'm into the financial sector. Graduated from Delhi College of Engineering, Delhi. Now it's DTU. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Prakash. Hi, I'm Prakash Somaiya. I'm a director and head of products for Finnate. I've been working with technology for over 20 years now. Initially 17 years with Infosys and about 5 years with Finnate now. Finnate is a SaaS lending platform. Ashutosh spoke about it a while back. We have the entire range of solutions which helps any NBFC to run the digital lending business from digital onboarding till collections end to end.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm Vishal Rathore. I'm working with IIFCL as General Manager and CIO. IIFCL basically a Government of India company under direct administrative control of Ministry of Finance, Government of India, and 100% equity with the Government of India. We deals in long-term infrastructure funding to all the major infrastructure project of India. It is being funded by IIFCL in one and another form. In IT domain, I'm working from last 2 decades. Prior to started my journey with my current organization, I have worked with a couple of banks, including public sector and private sector. Now I'm heading the IT in my current organization. Thank you.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sanjay Mahajan. First of all, thank you to B2B and founder for inviting me for this panel. I'm in this industry from last 3 decades, but pretty sector agnostic. Like 10 years with large manufacturing automobile companies at the part of my career, Mazda, ACRE, 10 years with world largest FMCGs, Gillette, head of IT for India, China business, and then 5 years on expat assignment with Procter & Gamble, Singapore, as a Asia IT head, 6 years with retail sector, and last 8 years into financial services. So right now, today, I represent Fusion Microfinance. I work as a Chief Information Officer there. And the topic on cloud is very, very interesting. And the cloud we have been using across the sectors. So we will happy to contribute on that. Yeah.
Thank you. Hi. So again, thank you to founder and B2B to first of all invite me. I'm Raj. And thank you, Anand. I'm really looking forward to a great engaging discussion. So I have close to 20 years of experience. I'm a computer engineer by education. I did my MBA in systems after that. And in last 20 years, this is my 4th domain that I'm working in. So I started my career as a software developer in the e-learning space, followed by I spent a huge stint in banking. Thereafter, I spent a couple of years with hospitality, that's Thomas Cook. And now I am into the lending space. So right now I head the data governance strategy and business intelligence at L&T Finance. L&T Finance, we all know, is one of the top 3, top 4 large NBFCs in India from book size as well as the overall POS wise. So I'm very delighted to be here amongst the fellow distinguished co-panelists. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. So since Raj, you said that you are among the top 3 NBFCs in India, so let me ask first question to you only then. So when we look at this cloud journey, I mean, how did you chart as an organization? I'm sure because being large, you were not born in the cloud for sure. So you would have moved into the cloud. How did you start this journey? What were the factors you considered? And where do you stand today in terms of this cloud journey? Could you please enlighten all of us from that perspective?
Yeah, sure. Yes, we weren't born with the cloud infrastructure, so to say. And again, we all know the legacy that L&D Finance has. So obviously, we didn't have a cloud in the first place, or cloud infra in the first place. But around 3.5 years ago, when all of us were grappling through the whole pandemic situation, when the entire business was down and out, and we, the tech leads in L&T Finance, thought of, instead of lamenting about the whole scenario that surrounds us, why can't we take this as an opportunity? We have lots and lots of downtime, which typically tech leads don't have. And I wouldn't say fortunately, unfortunately, we had that kind of a downtime with us. So we thought of, making great use or utilization of that particular period. We anyway, and this was obviously the whole journey got started in 2020 April, but the whole strategy was being discussed or being initiated around 2016, late 2016, early 2017. That, like everyone, we also wanted to move to cloud. We were married to Google. By that I mean that all our right from our emailing suites till about the whole work-line pieces, till about all the enterprise systems we had from Google, and none other than Google Cloud Platform, the GCP, is what we chose as our cloud partner. And we started our journey. We actually planned it entirely. We started our journey during, it was just after the first lockdown started. That was like, I believe, the first week of April, if I'm not wrong. And by June end, we were through. So at that point in time, we had some 20 odd applications which were entirely on-prem. And we successfully migrated those to GCP. While that was a story, there were quite a few struggles that we went through. Obviously, anyone who, and I'm sure most of us in this room, we all feel that to go to cloud, I mean, the only strategy to go to cloud is to go to the highest level of a SaaS or a PaaS model, right? So typically, anything below a containerized service in a cloud is not a good thing, right? And we also thought the same way. We also aspired for the end state, but we again grappled through that. We couldn't really crack this whole containerization piece. We also thought of directly moving on to platform as a service. We couldn't. So we sort of held back our strategy. We replanned, we recoursed this whole journey. We started with simple infra as a service, wherein we took all our infra from the on-prem to Google Cloud. And then we sort of, based on the criticality of the application as well as the support of Google as well as the OEMs, we decided, we tiered it down to application-wise application. And then we picked and choose every application to move from IaaS to PaaS. And as we speak, since I had the business intelligence and the data governance piece, a couple of months ago, we have entirely migrated our enterprise data warehouse and data lake from a very classical OLTP SQL server to a completely OLAP, Google native PaaS BigQuery. So yes, we did have our own challenges and struggles, but obviously we had our vision clear. So obviously we did a bit of course correction. We also sort of failed through certain milestones, but eventually we achieved it. And as we speak, we are entirely onto Google. 20% of our applications are we are entirely onto Google Cloud, out of which 20% of our applications are PaaS, which are platform as a service. The rest 70, 75, 80% applications are still infra as a service, and which sooner or later we'll be moving that to the containerized version. Yeah.
So have you moved your core lending system into the cloud, or it's still
the core
lending system?
Yeah. So again, the lending system is divided into two. So one is the originating piece, which fortunately we went with Salesforce Cloud Lending. That was entirely a SaaS service. It is entirely based on Salesforce Cloud. So there was no challenge there. The only challenge was on the loan management piece, which is a classic nucleus. I mean, I know I could see a few smiles when I speak nucleus, about nucleus. So nucleus again has their own marriage with Oracle, and we all know the tussle between Oracle and Google, again a very age-old story. But yes, we are still trying to figure out our strategy as to how do we move this whole loan management piece also onto the cloud. But honestly, apart from our loan management system, you term any other system, any other business system. It could be our lending system, the originating system, our business rule engine, our data warehouse, as what I said, as well as all our enterprise systems like Workline, our branch management system, our queue management system, all the other enterprise systems, they are entirely onto cloud.
Thanks. So let me now go to Vishal. Vishal, you come from a very diversified organization. Could you please help us understand how was your cloud journey?
Thanks, Anand. As I said, as far as cloud concerned, we are using the cloud services from last more than 1 decade for my organization. Not for my core system, but for some other applications. As you are aware that since we are the government of India company, that's why, and we are holding the public money. So security is the main concern about that. Okay, how the data is secure, whether this data is being compromised or not. So in my existing upgradation, we have adopted the cloud. So entire application, entire IT infrastructure, we are moving to the cloud. So presently we are using the SAP application. Now we are migrating out the S4HANA. For that, we have adopted my management is having the entire concern on especially from the security per se, how the cloud is secure or not, whether the data has been compromised and what you will do and all those things. We have done a lot of brainstorming, and after that we have decided to move on to the cloud, but not on the private cloud, but also on the GCC, Government Community Cloud. So accordingly, we have written our RFP documents where we have asked specifically for the Government Community Cloud, and now the complete application we are moving on to the cloud. The main reason is behind that when I'm talking about the cloud is basically a need of time, need of hour. All the people whomsoever sitting in this room, they are using the cloud in one and another form. Number one. Number two, when we are talking about the cloud, now what is the need of the cloud in the government companies? The main thing is that the money which I need to incur in the 3rd year, 4th year, or 5th year, if I'll go for the typical deployment of hardware in my own data center kind of thing, the entire money I have to spend right away. I have to make the provision, I have to make the projections for the next 5 years. At least I have to purchase the hardware for the next 5 years so that it will suffice my requirement. But in cloud, I need not to procure the entire hardware right away. I have to just make provision, and the money which I need to incur into the 3rd, 4th, 5th year, the infrastructure which I required in the 4th and 5th year, I need not to provision right now. I have to just obtain the cloud services as and my data will get grown. Then I have to increase my compute power or storage. Second thing is that since we are the infrastructure lending company and we are in the long-term infrastructure, so my one loan account would be the more than for 20 years or more kind of things. Because in the infra lending, first disbursement would be the for first 5 years, because if you want to go for one airport or one flyover, one port, it would take typically 4 to 5 years in the building. So in the first 5 years, only the disbursement. Repayment will be start only after 5 years. And this repayment time period would be the 15 years, 20 years or so. Depends on the arrangement with the borrower. So we have to keep entire data for at least for 20 to 25 years, number one. Number two, when we are doing the infrastructure lending, these all are the big ticket item. My one loan account would be the 500 CR or 1000 CR or more kind of things. So in that case, we have to take the very conscious call while sanctioning the loan or the disbursement. So in that case, we would require the very high compute power analytical engines, which not only carried out the analysis with the available of my data, but I have to take the data from the various other sources. Be it is available on the social media platform, be it is available with some credit rating agency, be it is available with the MCA, Ministry of Corporate Affairs. We have to pull all the data, then we have to carry out the analytics, then we have to plot the graph, whether the borrowing having the capability or not to repay this much huge amount. So all this would be required the very huge compute power and the storage. We cannot incur the huge amount in the right away in this compute and storage. So that's why we have decided to move on to the cloud. So where we can start with a few data and gradually we'll move all to application. Presently also, many of the applications we are already moved to the cloud. However, in the next couple of months, we are moving everything on the cloud. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Now, Sanjay, so you had a pretty long stint with Satin, which is into multiple, including the microfinance. Now you are handling into the fusion microfinance. And I understand, as I understand microfinance industry, and just before COVID time, if I look at specifically, it was primarily a feet on street, this kind of industry, and where you disburse the loan, and then you have a joint lending groups, collect the loan, all cash and a very minimal digitalization. So, I mean, it would be very interesting for us to know, where do you stand today is from a fusion perspective, how this entire microfinance business is being transformed with this cloud thing?
Yeah, yeah. So, as the other guy said, cloud is nowadays becoming an integral part of any organization. Whether it is today or tomorrow, everyone will have to go to that. And if we look back over the last 5 years, and our fraternity, CIO fraternity, what we used to say is, oh, I don't want to put my critical application on the cloud. You know, it's very risky. I cannot go, my data is not secure and all that. And we have come up the curve on those days now. And finally, if we see the people have started moving towards cloud, and majority part of not only the normal application, the critical application, which are business critical. And so that curve has already come. So having said that, from a microfinance perspective, Fusion, they onboarded their first application when they started, it was on cloud, okay? And 98% of our business is on cloud. So we gone through a hybrid approach where we had some kind of our internal servers, whether emailing servers and network servers, the print servers and all those kind of stuff. But slowly all those applications have now moved on to, we are on AWS majorly. Why cloud is important and why organizations are going towards that? Lot of advantages. Advantage number one, the flexibility, scalability, time to market to launch something can be just click of a button. However, initially what organization used to do is put a lot of capex investment, take a hardware, do an initial investment, and when there is some kind of a issue in terms of processing or performance, then they have to reorder again. Reordering may take 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks. System will come. So time to market and flexibility and security, all those angles are now really, really fast. But again, with a caution that whatever services you are taking a full-fledged bundle right away, or you're taking small? Pricing is also very, very important because, you know, cloud also gives you a flexibility that whatever paper use, whatever you are using, whenever you are using, your cost will be charged to that aspect. So all these are very, very big advantages. Number two, every organization traditionally have to have a very strong and a large set of infra teams, okay? Because if you are having an on-premise kind of an environment, you have to have those kind of people to manage that. But now you have given that to the experts. So clouds is all managed by experts. So you can stay, so that's another cost-saving opportunity from all perspective. But whenever someone goes to a cloud journey, he has to understand those things in a right way because right now it is available as a e-commerce. You may go and buy a bundle of big servers and big, you know, so one has to be very, very careful. So yeah, so that's my
Thanks, Sanjay.
Yeah.
So I think till now we heard the views of our eminent speakers who were primarily moved from on-prem to the cloud. Now let's hear from Rishab. Rishab, you were born into the cloud only. So it is interesting to know what made you born into this thing and how you're handling the security and other customer experience from this perspective.
Bigger question is to manage the bigger question is to manage the security and scalability. So need to ensure that your applications are architected or designed in a way so that they can take the full benefit of the strengths of a cloud basically. So if you talk about security, scalability, so having these features, it's a kind of it's a kind of shared responsibility between a cloud provider and you. So just being on cloud doesn't ensure that your application is secure. So So we are still evolving on the cloud. We architected the applications, continuously re-architecting the applications to take the benefits of all the features of the cloud. So if you are not very conscious of the application design, the cost of the cloud infrastructure would. And from the security perspective, you need to be very much careful in terms of using the cloud best practices to ensure your applications are secure. And we saved a good amount of, by re-architecting the applications, we saved a good amount of money in terms of storage, in terms of compute, and in terms of the choice of the security, basically. So that's
Any specific one point you would like to say what one should be very key consider while moving on to the cloud, or one thing we should be completely?
so so your application design should be so while moving to cloud, you need to take into consideration the application design, whether your application designed for the cloud or not. If you're just installing your application on the cloud, just like a traditional data center, this will bring you down. So you won't get any benefit out of the cloud, just like having it in a traditional data center. So your application design is a key consideration, basically, to be on the cloud.
Thanks. Rakesh, your views?
Yeah. Thank you, Anand. So I was shifting office in 2016 from Global Business Park to near to Medanta. और साथ में जब शिफ्ट करने लगे तो then I had to shift the server along with the server batteries. पता नहीं शायद 50 बैटरी रही होगी. और then जब वहाँ पे office space we had started to deciding. So then my IT guy had said कि sir we have to put 2 AC as well. और रात को अगर नहीं चलेगा तो क्या होगा सर्वर? क्योंकि ये सब सारी परेशानियाँ हैं और then we have to design everything and then this server is around 8-9 years old. So probably in a year we have to replace that. So then we sat and we went on the casting and we said कि नहीं, we'll replace it. So that was the trigger point. So first was that managing the infrastructure was a trigger point. Second was a cost, and as an NBFC, I think that the cost is much more important because if you are investing 1 crore in a server and AC and this and that, and by putting 1 crore, you are going to earn another crore from the field. And if you're putting your whole thing on this cloud, probably you are making profit on that. So that was the second decision-making point. That's why. So in 2016-17, we started moving in SV Credit Line, and we moved in a year so on a cloud AWS. So that was from server to internal server to cloud. When we co-founded that Shubhlakshmi, from day one, we went on cloud. So that's the designing of the software and everything, the security. And plus, importantly, last 6-7 years, that's RBI has been very critical, issuing the guidelines on the data security, the data coming back if something goes wrong, the runtime. And once it also had happened that time, that's 1 or 2 days that the data was on that, so people were asking money. So these were the things when you manage the server. So I think that's as a CEO, if you have to have a peace of mind, you have to give away with these kind of infrastructure if the services of experts are available, because it's a less manual intervention. You are not dependent upon your employees, you are dependent upon the experts. So एक सर्वर है, फिर आपको एक और चाहिए क्योंकि बैकअप के लिए आपको चाहिए. तो कितना बैकअप का भी बैकअप चाहिए. फिर हाउ मच एम्प्लॉय के बगैर पता चलता है कि सर्वर रूम उतना बड़ा चाहिए आपको. तो स्पेशली मैं किसी के यहाँ गया तो उन्होंने अपना सर्वर रूम भी दिखाया, तो मैंने कहा ये बढ़िया है, आप सर्वर रूम भी दिखा रहे हैं. तो so nowadays that's a thing has moved to that. But what I would say, that's rather than that's individual keeping individual server, now somebody is keeping for yourself. So rather than that's public transport you are using, पहले आप अपनी बाइक से आते थे, अब शायद बस है जिससे आते जाते हैं, तो data is being kept. So nothing beyond that. They are having the same thing, but with the more security, with the more system, and at one place under the guidance of the experts.
So Rakesh, thanks. So I think you touched upon an important topic on the expenses, cost, capex, and opex. So actually, that was my next question. So let me just ask you only this thing. So see, I mean, you rightly said, by going on cloud, you're avoiding large capexes and converting this into the small pieces of OPEX. So how this cloud is helping you? Do you think cloud is, while it is a OPEX, it is going to be there till the time you are into the business. Do you still think that it is helping in terms of quick scaling of the business?
It's true that at least one kind of generally people they go and taking the excuse your IT team कि सर्वर ही नहीं काम कर रहा है सर, और फील्ड वाला भी कहता है कि सर्वर नहीं काम कर रहा है. तो पता चला जब शाम को 3 बजे से 7 बजे तक डेटा अपलोड होना शुरू हुआ तो सर्वर इज नॉट वर्किंग, because your server you cannot have that efficiency of that server which have that bigger data load. For that you probably you have to have a 3 times bigger server. So in that same price you can go on the cloud. So efficiency in the evening when your guys are putting the data in terms of loan application, in terms of the collection, in terms of whatever GRTs, CGTs, whatever they do, they are putting that KYCs. So that time you require the bigger, the faster server. So that's how you are getting efficiency if you are moving on that part. Keeping yourself, probably पता चलेगा 3 लोग और लगे हुए हैं वो सर्वर में हवा दे रहे हैं कि और तेजी से चलना चाहिए उस सर्वर को.
आपने क्लाउड की वजह से, मैं तो क्लाउड ने आईटी वालों का फिर थोड़ा सा एक्सक्यूज का बहाना बनाने का काम कम कर दिया. अब कम रह गए बहाने. अब सर्वर तो अब आप पंखा तो जरूरत नहीं है, क्लाउड पे सब कोई और मैनेज कर रहा है.
नहीं है, मुझे एसी लगाने के बाद उतनी एसी तो मेरे कमरे में नहीं लग रही थी जितनी क्लाउड वाले में लग रही थी. तो एक्सक्यूजेस रियली कम हुए हैं वहाँ से कि अब है एक्सक्यूज, बट आप फ़ोन करके पूछ सकते हैं कि तुम्हारा सर्वर गड़बड़ तो नहीं चल रहा है.
I think now let me bring Mandakini into this conversation. So Mandakini, same question to you. I mean, with this OPEX thing which is there, as against the CAPEX that you invest once and then you are, you don't have to do anything for the next 5 years or 4 or 5 till you replace. What is your thought around this thing?
So I'm aligned with Rakesh. So either your initial investment, I will give you an example. In 2000, I was working in Chennai. I think I'm audible, my voice is bad. So in 2015, I will not call out the name of the bank, but our data center went into the water and all the data lost. And all the everything, big team is sitting all around India. And it was a very critical condition. So that's where we took a step. And we decided no. Okay, my background is a little different than compared to others. First 2 years, I worked in the central organization, where I worked IBM, all the mainframe things and all. After that, I started as a freelancer, and I don't have option to procure a data center. So from 2007, I started using cloud. I was not knowing what is cloud and all. I got one server in US, Orbit was that time, and then GoDaddy. That time AWS, GCP, these all big people were not there. So Orbit or GoDaddy, these guys started giving the infra, and I had started as a freelancer and then built a company, private limited company, and had a big team, almost 50, 60 people. So I was always working on the cloud. Later on, 2011, I started using AWS. So almost more than 12 years I'm using AWS. So when this issue has came in the organization and complete operations has stopped, I asked my MD, this 50 lakh, put you this money in some other your subsidiary and let me allow to work on AWS. So that's where I started using AWS. Now as answer to your question, so I said this 50 lakh, you take yourself and give me the interest on this. And with that interest, I will run the AWS.
Very nice.
And in that, I got even the current organization, Vivriti Capital, we have 2 kind of product, build and buy. Build is all the in-house infrastructure. Build is we are using cloud. Buy, we have in-house infrastructure. So like we have a co-lending supply chain, co-lending finance, that's all we build. We don't have buy. Again, supply chain finance we have built. Then alternative investment fund, nothing in the market. Some people says we have it, but honestly, I don't see anything where I can use it as it is. So we are building it and all the cloud. Of course, we are using cloud, AWS, multi-cloud. And by alone, we have on AWS, entity server. So, and I feel, so when I started using here also, I got almost 1 crore credit from AWS. Thank you, whoever is from AWS and all. Even GCP give big credit. So last 2 years, I have not paid even the single rupees for any infrastructure, and I am running my business as a CTO. That is, I am always showing in my board meeting, I saved you this much money, and I am taking credit for that.
Yep.
So yeah, that's.
Thank you, thank you. So, I mean, let's bring
Thank
another perspective into this discussion. See, RBI launched this account aggregator framework, right? It's said to be a game changer, but I don't know whether it has actually flown off or took off this thing or not, or is still in infancy stages. The thought was pretty novel that a customer would not have to run around here and there for this KYC, and a lot of things will come into it. Now, Prakash, I want to ask this question to you. Do you actually think that it is a game changer, the account aggregator? If it is, then why it is still not being talked about? So
in my view, account aggregator is a game changer, and we will see benefits of it probably in another couple of years. If we go a little back, even before the account aggregator, the Jan Dhan Aadhaar mobile trinity that came in, which basically forms the base of account aggregation, right? India did not had, or there was a large chunk of Indian population which did not had access to formal banking system. And with JAM coming in place, I think every household today has an account. Now, take that journey a little forward, right? Where everybody has a savings account, there are transactions which are getting logged into the system. There is and if you can access those transactions, you can actually expose a lot of potential in terms of giving credit. Now, it's a question of when you look at account aggregation, there are 3 pieces to it, right? There is a financial information provider, and then there is somebody who gives consent. When the way system would mature over a period of time, today financial information providers are still not very open to provide all the information that they have, and they have not all financial information providers are onboarded onto the account aggregation framework. So the day by day when the quantum goes up, the information is available, and individuals find it easier way of accessing credit is where more and more people will give access to the information that they have. I think Sahmati, which is another initiative by the government of India, is playing a big role into it in terms of getting this all on one platform. And I think with that consent coming in, next couple of years, we should see a huge change in terms of the way credits are getting processed, specifically for people who do not have access to credit today or who have not taken loans in past.
So, Prakash, thanks. So, Prakash, you basically you're owning and lending platform, okay, which is into the cloud, which is SaaS based. So, my next question again is to you only. So, with this shift towards cloud, now, how do you think it has helped in terms of regulatory compliances? Is it become more complex as compared to the on-prem area? Or do you think that we have now more power, it become more agile, it is more easy to follow the compliances that we all NBFCs have to follow?
So regulatory compliances, if I have to look at it, can be categorized into multiple things. So one is in terms of providing data to the regulator on the business that an NBFC does. And I think that more or less would still remain the same, whether it's an on-prem application or it's put on cloud. But then the other aspects wherein your data security is concerned, ensuring data is retained for a certain number of years, ensuring that the systems are up and running 24/7 and the access of the systems are available to the customers throughout the year. I think those are the areas where being on cloud has helped a lot and will help the NBFCs even going forward.
Okay, so basically it has we can provide the reports to regulators like RBI in case of NBFCs more quickly and better in terms of at a click of the button, if I may say.
Yes.
Does your system help in doing so?
It does help. So the reports are anyway generated at a click of a button, but now with RBI also providing certain ways in which the reports can be pushed to RBI through APIs, I think that has given, it is bringing more flexibility in terms of complying to the regulations that are there.
Okay, thanks Prakash. So Raj, coming back to you. We are all talking about now the AI and ML, and I think you are the one who is driving these efforts in your organization. So so when we talk about customer onboarding, credit underwritings, when we talk digital payment, they all are online and they're being extensively using this AI ML. Now, in your view, where do we move from here in terms of the customer experience journey?
Yes, so I can cite quite a few use cases for analytics, AI ML analytics in general for NBFC. And as you very rightly said, the entire lending landscape is moving from a B2B or an assisted journey to 100% automated and STP kind of a journey. And to achieve this whole STP piece, there are a lot of aspects like, multiple digital scorecards are being built. And the very foundation of these digital scorecards are nothing but the ML algorithms. This is more about sourcing piece, largely from the collections perspective. There are quite a few algorithms which are being written as we speak, which talk about generating early warning signals for a particular set of customers who have more propensity to default an EMI, right? So again, cost of collection is an outcome of that. So that's largely on the collections piece. Talking about the customer service or the churn is something that may not be to the extent of the telecom industry, but yes, somewhat near. The customer churn is something that the entire industry is grappling with. So again, having multiple algorithms built for the call center, for the customer service team really helps in retaining customers. So now this is largely about the use cases wherein this whole AI ML kicks in. Stitching that piece to cloud, then one good thing about cloud, and largely I'm talking about the platform as a service bit, since, and obviously I'm talking from my own context perspective, since we have already our data lake and data warehouse built in platform as a service, the entire data is available at a fingertips for any analytics or any developer or a data scientist who is working on it. And likewise, he or she could write their models on cloud itself. So likes of Vertex AI, likes of multiple other libraries with which Google, again GCP have exposed, it becomes really convenient for the data scientists to try and build their training models as well as testing the prediction, the whole prediction, and try to attain that accuracy. Mind you, by moving or by having this kind of a journey, the accuracy, if you eventually assess your confusion matrix, it doesn't impact. So that's the beauty of moving your whole analytics, the data science or the AI ML piece also onto cloud, wherein platform as a service definitely helps. One, obviously your data scientist, the time to market is quite good. It doesn't hamper your accuracy. In fact, it betters your accuracy, eventually again helping to attain all those use cases which I spoke of.
Thanks. So Sanjay, to you, what are the new use cases from the cost perspective, saving perspective, which are coming out from the use of AI?
AI ML adoption is becoming very large now in the industry. As any technology comes, it takes some time to settle down and people, before they understand whether it is important or not, like blockchain or something. AI ML is right now in the financial industry is becoming again a critical part of the industry. Starting from onboarding, okay, your RPA activities, robotic process automation, which we use quite heavily in our organization. So where every document is scanned and you have given it to the engine, they're saying, okay, this number is like this and all that. For each and every document, if you want to do this, this is a very, very important piece from a customer acquisition perspective, okay? Then your credit underwriting engine. You can have a predictive analytics based on how NPAs are behaving, how collections are happening, how everything is happening. That's another. Third one, very, very important, we are serving customers, okay? So customer support, customer grievances, okay? You can have those models where you have trained the engine, they know that these are the kind of queries which have come from them over a period of time, and your database over a period of time have become mature and they are giving those answers to the customers, whether it is a grievance or what kind of queries. These three models, this is end-to-end journey of a lending, right?
Thank you,
Yeah,
thanks,
yeah,
thanks.
yeah.
So let me come to Mandakini, and I think I've already got an alert that time is getting up. So I'll just request Mandakini and next Rishab to you that be in the bullet points, 2 quick bullet points. Same question to both of you. How you're going to be this cost saving use cases using the AI, I mean, if you can suggest some.
Yeah. So as Raj said, already if we go any cloud, there are hundreds of model already there. So you don't need to reinvent the wheel. Models are there. You first try that and then see if something can be top up. So you got 90% code there, 95. And then data, they will give this data also. So first you don't need to reinvent a wheel, and that will save a lot of time. That is the first thing. That's the cost saving. Second is, as said by other members, that for the finance sector, early warning signal is a big thing. And modeling, and then a lot of tools there like SageMaker or Notepad, as rightly said, that we don't need to reinvent, and like we can't, as a developer, I have started my career as a developer, and we are, every developer can't build a C language or some innovation of this, some language. We are working on top of that. So that kind of features they give, cloud. Every month, they release and keep continuously improving that existing product. So we focus on our core business, not focusing on that like SageMaker or Notebook or innovation of other part. So that is the really great work, and we are extensively using cloud for AI, ML, data lake. Even the security are very good there. We use different kind of cloud, either public, VPC, our own private cloud. So, but yeah, we are using extensively. Thank you.
Thank you.
If we start from customer onboarding, basically we do run a face liveliness check and do a face triangulation, where we compare the selfie image of a person across different ID proofs which he had submitted. Then we go for a pin triangulation. We compare the addresses provided by the customers coming through bureau reports, through his address proofs, and generate insights out of it. And then coming back to the credit underwriting, we bureau, banking, GST, and transaction data. And we had built our ML models on top of those data points and generate credit insights for a credit underwriter to make a sound decision. And then post disbursement, again, we do employ a lot of AML algorithms to check for early warning signals basis his bureau reports, which we keep on fetching on a regular basis. So, at the last, but not the least, even customer servicing, find their bots have evolved a lot in past couple of years. Now, customer can type in his natural language, and the system can generate the actionable insights basis those keywords whatever customer has typed in his natural language. So all these advancements has really improved the cost effectiveness of the entire lending life cycle and improved the experience of the customer.
Thank you. Okay. So, see, in light of we know that the cloud architecture is evolving, a lot of things are coming, and the operating models are also changing in the cloud nowadays. So, this question is to all the leaders here, that how you feel that we should be using these things, scalability, agility, security, and this various operating models which are coming up in the cloud, and how do we plan for future in our respective NBFCs? Maybe if you can just give one or two points, each one of you. Rakesh, start.
See, the biggest cost could be to any NBFC is a credit cost. Means that's a risk. Because the employee cost is very much controlled, 3, 4%, 2%. But a spike can come anytime in your risk. If you did not lend well, probably that may go to 10%, 12%, 13%. And given the time period as well, that's COVID and other, how you're going to do that. So prevention, I believe, with the kind of use of AI, ML and technology and cloud, is much more required than that's going and seeing that those work was done by 3 people now would be done by only 2 people. This should not be that task of the management team. There should be that if efficiency is going to increase and we are disbursing more than 1,000 and now disbursing 2,000 loans in a day, what could go wrong, and that's how it could be controlled. Importantly, because you are not going to use only IT. IT is being used by the fraudulents also. So you have to be on toes like Jamatra, Arnu, Gas. डेली बेसिस पे आता है. एक दिन मैं ऑफिस में बैठा था तो फ़ोन करके बंदा कहता है कि आपके पिताजी के से मिलने आया तो उनका 15,000 रुपये वापस करना है, आप अपना नंबर दे दीजिए. दुर्गेश्वर जी मेरे साथ बैठे हुए थे. तो मैंने कहा दुर्गेश्वर जी किसका नंबर दिया? तो मेरे दोस्त हैं एसपी, तो मैंने कहा कि उनका नंबर दे देते हैं. तो पीपल आर डूइंग दैट. सो वी कैन अंडरस्टैंड, बट दीज थिंग्स शुड बी आल्सो द कस्टमर के पास कल को फ़ोन जाएगी, EMI हमको वापस करनी है, वी आर सेंडिंग द लिंक. सो आई थिंक दैट हैज़ टू बी, वो कास्ट बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है देन managing that internal cost, which is the infrastructure or what.
Rishab, any one bullet point?
So certainly cost and security are is very, very important, and since in NBFC we are opening our infrastructure through APIs to multiple partners now. So maintaining a strong security instance is very imperative for any NBFC right now in this kind of open economy.
Thank you. Mandakini.
So from me, one bullet point is it's not for anyone else. More problem if something changing in the cloud, it's a challenge for the developer and DevOps guys. So it's the infrastructure team. They should continuously train, keep eyes on that. And developer, they should also get trained what is coming new in the SageMaker, what is Notepad, what they are putting, what they are writing code, what they are sharing on the cloud to make sure it's not breaking or it's not leaking their data. Can be leaked. People normally developer copy code and paste on the any public blog. So those are the training, I will say, all the organization give proper training. That's the baseline, basic hygiene. Everyone should do it. Thank you.
Coming from an IT company, I would probably put a little bit different perspective to moving on cloud. When without cloud, specifically on the on-prem deployments, with the tools that we have, if we have to move any code changes, any new enhancements from development to production, sometimes it takes a long time, right? With tools that are available on the cloud in terms of DevOps, in terms of containerization, as well as the test automation tools, if all brought together, the time to market any changes, any innovation is surely going to come down, and that also in a way brings in more efficiency and helps the NBFC grow.
Thank you.
Since day by day the IT penetration has been increasing in all the area, so there is always very little scope to reduce the cost, because you have to every day you have to increase the investment in the IT. So only wherever you are using any COTS kind of product, then there is a very little scope, you cannot reduce the cost. So only one area is there where you can reduce the cost, that is the ICT infrastructure. By adopting the cloud, you can reduce the cost. By adopting the cloud, you can reduce your operational cost and you can bring the operational efficiency in the system. So adoption of the cloud is the need of time, it is the need of minute, I would say.
Thank you. Sanjay?
Yeah, I think I would agree with most of the panelists. Cost optimization is very, very important. Though cloud gives you that cost optimization, but my watch out would be that, when you go to cloud, look at, there is a buffet of products. And one has to understand what out of that buffet, what do you need and how much you need, okay? People don't really know and they spend a lot of money in that. And a lot of money gets wasted. So that understanding has to be there. And then of course, you have to take this component. People don't know that, okay, they have taken a RDS, that RDS, kitni transaction pe kitni cost aayegi, ye logon ko pata nahi hai. Uski understanding hona bahut zaruri hai. So my watch out would be that, yeah.
Again, so I think the only persisting advantage of being on cloud is TAT. Why I wouldn't say cost as well, because cost, if cloud is not implemented properly, then cost could be an ill effect of cloud. And just to add to what he said, cloud is a buffet and you have to pick and choose. Now, I'll simply remove my NBFC hat. As a general cloud practitioner or a cloud user, I would like to advise all of you that don't really limit your strategy by thinking that cloud is the only way out. We haven't, none in the world has reached that stage wherein he or she will feel, okay, now I have to mandatorily move to cloud. It's not the thing. Think about your stimuli. Only then you think of moving to cloud. A very simple correlation, and I'll end with that. A very naive correlation is we started with using prepaid, right? Until when postpaid hit us and everyone went on to postpaid. So prepaid is kind of an on-prem solution and postpaid is a cloud wherein it doesn't stop you from calling or getting messages. But then you don't really know what sort of cost you will end up having and what sort of bill you will end up paying. So be watchful and don't limit or reinforce your strategy to be cloud only or cloud first kind of a thing. It is, we haven't yet reached that stage. That's
Raj, I think you well summarized this thing. And I think it is extremely important that before you get into the cloud, do your proper homework and what are the costs going to do and do the continuous monitoring of your expenses. One fine day you may suddenly realize that suddenly things have started zooming out and your cost is going out of control. I think well said. Thank you everybody. Thanks a lot for this thing.
Pleasure.
I hope the audience is able to learn something.
Thanks.
So, thank you. Well, I know time is up. Any time for one question? Anybody has any? We can take only one question if he has. Can I ask? Yeah, please, sir. Can you, and if you are asking question to whom?
Yeah, so first of all, thank you very much. My name is Jaspreet. I have about 29 years of experience in the IT industry, and I work for Nalito as Chief Technology Officer, and our clients are NBFCs and banks. So, and thank you for enlightening the experiences of your various divisions. As Mr. Raj rightly said, we cater to our customers which have the loan books from 10 CR to about 3,000 CRs. So it's very important that you understand the turnaround times and the cost invested in the cloud, because if the strategy goes wrong, probably it backfires. So for our customers, which are in the range of 10 CR to about 3,000 CR, we have seen that public clouds are expensive for them. But private clouds, like the data centers in India, they offer private clouds, ESDAS, WebWorks, CIFI. So they are cost efficient because storage is most expensive in the cloud. And then there's a variable components about egress and ingress kind of thing. So our customers is in that bracket.
Please, if you can ask question, because she's going to shoot me down.
Yeah, okay. So the question is, there has to be some threshold where the benefits of cloud start coming in. So for example, 10,000 crores portfolio UGRO, probably they have a benefit. But at certain point of time, when the sizes, the infrastructure goes much way bigger than what you are currently, probably there are case studies where you have to fall back to your own data centers probably for the cost benefit analysis. So any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I can take your questions. So Vivriti Capital is like we have 4 products. And out of one is institutional lending. As rightly said that there we lend in crore, not in thousand or lakh. So we have very less customer. So there we have in-premises. But if we are going like co-lending where 10,000, like we have even 10,000 lending and all. So in those cases, we go for cloud because number of transaction is high. And that's where we need to analyze those data. Again, in the case of first, where you said that 10 crore, but 10 crore is institutional lending, high risk. I will not store the transactional data, but I will store the information for which I will continue monitoring of the investment health, like credit and risk. These two, because we are getting a lot of data and always monitoring how this data is aligned with that. So like PF data or GST data or their operational cost, there are multiplying it and seeing that how is the investment health. But that is not applicable for the consumer investment. So in the consumer investment retail, we have transaction. But in the institutional, it's a different set, credit, risk. So it's 2 separate things. We are using different use cases, cloud, but for different use cases, not for transaction.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks you.
Well, thank you so much, sir. Now requesting Mr. Anand Agarwal to kindly present the memento to all the esteemed panelists. First to Mr. Rakesh Dubey. Everyone, let's have a huge round of applause. Next to Ms. Mandakini Kumari. Next to Mr. Sanjay Mahajan. Ladies and gentlemen, now let's have a huge round of applause. Next to Mr. Rishab Garg. Next to Mr. Vishal Rathore. Everyone put your hands together. Next to Mr. Raj Dighe. And next to Mr. Prakash Somaiya. Now requesting from our organizing team to please join us on stage and present memento to our moderator for this session, Mr. Anand Agarwal. Everyone, come on. Well, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us. Requesting everyone to kindly proceed for a group photograph. Now let's have broad smiles and pose. Thank you. Well, moving on, ladies and gentlemen, now it's time for technical presentation once again, and this time, this presentation is going to be taken over by Mr. Anil Kumar, Assistant Vice President, Lead Squared. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me in welcoming him by having a huge round of applause. Thank you.